Hi everyone, welcome to the second video in my Best of 2017 series. The other day I posted my favorite foundations, powder, and concealer. Today I have a lot more products to show you. This is the video where I talk about my favorite eye products. Eyebrow pencils, eyeliners, eyeshadow bases, eyeshadow palettes, which was really hard to narrow down. Choosing the foundation, powder, concealer, that was pretty easy, but I experiment a lot with different eye products throughout the year, throughout the week. It's very rare that I'll even reach for the same palette twice in a week, but these are the ones that I am consistently reaching for. These are the products that, as I said in my last video, I'm always taking with me on vacation. I'm using them in almost every single look or tutorial I do. So if you're interested in seeing what these best of beauty eye products for 2017 are, then please keep on watching. So before I get started, I just wanted to welcome once again all of my new subscribers, or if this is the first video of mine that you have ever seen, I hope that you will check out some of my other content and that you will subscribe also. I did get a new camera for 2018. This is a Canon 80D. I originally, when I started my channel, had a Canon T3i, but it didn't have autofocus, and that drove me crazy because I would film whole videos and play them back and I would just be slightly out of focus. So that's when I got the Sony a5100, and the problem with that one was a couple things. One, it overheats. It overheats after sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, and I thought it was just a defect with my camera, but it's actually a defect within that particular camera when filming and sitting down for an extended period of time. The other issue I had was that there is a built-in soft focus feature on the Sony cameras, and when you're watching a video and you see somebody and they kind of look almost too good to be true, too perfect, a lot of times, I'd be willing to bet they're using a Sony camera, because even though I would have my settings, I would have the soft focus set to off, because you can do off, low, or high. I would have it set to off. I liked having that soft focus effect, but you as a viewer didn't really like that. And I was getting a lot of comments about how my face doesn't move and I'm full of Botox. And I'm a channel geared towards women over 40. And not that there's anything wrong with Botox or filler. I'm sure I'll be doing that in the near future. I did have lip injections. This video isn't about that, but I just felt like maybe getting a new camera with more clarity, as much as I would prefer to look more perfect, I want you guys to see the real me, a realistic me. I have texture, I have shine, I have wrinkles, my face moves. So I just wanted to start off the new year with a new camera. So I really hope you guys like the camera upgrade as well. So I want to go kind of step by step through how I apply my eye makeup. The first thing I always do is I put on eyeshadow primer. I've talked about my need for an eyeshadow primer over and over in my videos because I have such oily skin. I have really oily lids. I cannot just use a MAC paint pot or a concealer as my primer. It just doesn't work for me. I need a specific shadow primer. And for the first half of the year, I was using the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. And then again, trying to move into purchasing more cruelty-free products, I picked up the Too Faced Shadow Insurance 24-Hour Anti-Crease Primer. Both of these are excellent. And then for a drugstore option, I still have it and I reach for it a lot too, is my Milani eyeshadow base. I had been using the Wet n Wild Fergie primer, but I think they reformulated it, and from what I hear, it's not as good. So for a drugstore option, Milani would be my pick, and then for department store, specialty store brands, I would say the MAC Prep and Prime and the Too Faced Shadow Insurance were definitely my favorites. Then usually I will go to my brows, and I've been really into pencils this year. I go in phases. Sometimes I'll use like the gels, such as Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, or I actually, for a long time, was using this ColourPop in Dope Taupe. I really like this, and it's really inexpensive, but I have the Dip Brow in every color, so I kind of rotate, but I'll use the Dip Brow in either Taupe or Soft Brown, the ColourPop in Dope Taupe, and then for pencils, I would use Brow Wiz most of the time, but then I discovered If you've been following me for the last couple months, you will have seen this in one of my favorites. It's the Brow Gal Eyebrow Pencil in Taupe that has a built-in sharpener on the end that I really like. And then recently I discovered, I don't know what happened to the caps. Either side, the caps have disappeared. This is the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. I did recently do a video where I compared this to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer, and they are very, very similar. So check out that dupe video if you're interested in a good brow pencil. So other than these pencils and the Brow Wiz, and then the two I just showed you, the gels, the powder that I use once in a while to go over the brow, maybe if I want to deepen it up for night, maybe I'm going from a day look to a night look and I've used a lighter pencil, but for night I want to go a little bit darker or my hair color has changed. I like this Tamnova powder. I discovered this brand through a makeup artist on Instagram and I ordered it online. It's the Brow Styling Duo. I, of course, will link everything in the description box, but I believe you can only get this online. But this is called Blondie, and I think it comes in 3 different shades. My goal for 2018 is to finally try Kelly Baker brows. I'm seeing so much of her on Instagram and celebrities using her brow products, so I'm really interested in trying those products. And of course, I will share my thoughts on them with you guys. So normally I would move on to doing eyeshadow, but I want to do the eyeshadow palette favorites last. So let's go to eyeliners. I either use pencil liner or liquid liner. I very rarely use gel anymore. I'll reach for it once in a while, and I very rarely just use powder. I need the staying power of usually a liquid, and then if I want a softer look, then I'll just take an eyeshadow in one of the palettes I'm using and go over and soften the line with that. But for liquid liners, this will come as no surprise to anyone who has been with my channel for a while. It is a Tarte Tartist double-ended liner. I don't know the full name of this product because all the writing is pretty much worn off, but one end is a black liquid liner, which is nice and dark and it goes on really easily and is really long wearing. And then the other side is a twist up liner that you can wear in the inner rims. I will use it to tightline top and bottom. It's great for travel. I would definitely say this is my most used eyeliner. And then if I ever want to use a brown, I like the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Mad Max Brown. And then for pencils, my favorites are Charlotte Tilbury. It's funny because when I first tried these eyeliners, they're very, very creamy. So I just thought to myself, there's no way these are gonna stay on my oily lids, even if I've primed my eyes. I just felt like they're just too creamy, and I was really, really wrong about them. They actually have great staying power. And if you do want that more smudgy, softer eyeliner look, then I highly recommend these. I have the Barbarella Brown, which is just a dark brown, and I finally got the Bedroom Black. And these are fantastic. Now moving on to mascara, I don't really try a lot of new mascaras throughout the year because I wear false lashes more often than not. When I'm filming or if I'm going out for the night or if I'm meeting somebody for lunch, I'll still wear like a subtle pair of false eyelashes. I don't always do super dramatic, but I like to wear more dramatic lashes for filming and taking Instagram photos. But I tend to rely on samples that I get from Sephora, either as a point perk or in my Sephora Play box. So I've gotten a couple of these Marc Jacobs mascaras this year. This is the Velvet Noir. I actually did purchase this full size, I think once this year. No, I got it in some gift box. I think it was Makeup by Ally earlier this year, had like a special package that was maybe $20 and it had a bunch of different products in it, and it had a full size of this Velvet Noir mascara in it. So I think that's the main reason why I purchased it, because I thought it was such a great deal considering it contained a $25 mascara in or something like that. So I love the samples. For some reason, and I know other people feel this way too, sample sizes tend to perform far better than the full size. I can't tell you how many times I have used a sample of a mascara, fell in love with it, went and purchased the full size, and was disappointed. Thought that the mini performed better. So yeah, that's what I'm sticking to. And this Marc Jacobs one, as I just said 500 times, is my favorite. It provides me with a lot of length, a lot of volume. It doesn't flake on me, it doesn't smudge. So I'm a huge fan of this Marc Jacobs. All right, now for the fun stuff. Palettes, the best palettes of 2017. I'm gonna start with the ones that those of you who know me will already be saying in your head, oh, she's gonna show these. You're right. I'm gonna show the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette and the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This could possibly be the second year in a row I've shown this palette because it is just my favorite. I just bought a backup when Ulta had them on sale, and I'm going through, I rarely hit pan on anything in any palette, but Tempera, Burnt Orange, Cypress Umber, definitely hit pan on those. Some of the other shades like Love Letter and Venetian Red, I have to be careful with because my eyes can get really, really irritated with those colors. Something about the red dye in there. So I will be very, very careful when using those, and I'll make sure that I've put another color on top first. So if I'm gonna use, say, red ochre in my crease, I'll make sure that I have another color laid down first. So maybe I'll do raw sienna or burnt orange in the crease and then add the Venetian red just lightly on top of it to give it that reddish look that I want. But you don't have to do a red look with this palette or a burgundy look. There are some skin tones that this probably wouldn't be the most flattering on, especially if you do have more mature skin, but I am obsessed with this palette. I use it all the time. And then the Huda Beauty Rose Gold, I love. I actually just caved and bought the Desert Dusk palette. I had it in my hands when Sephora was having the 20 off, the VIB sale, and I thought, I don't need this, I don't need this. And then, of course, now when I'm not gonna get it on sale or anything, that's when I feel like I have to have it. So that should be arriving tomorrow, I think. So definitely tutorials to come on that, but love this. Up next is the Just Peachy Mattes from Too Faced. If you watched my foundation and powder video that I put up the other day, you can kind of come to the conclusion that I was a huge fan of the peach collection that launched early in, I think, September. So these are all matte shades, and I think that they're pigmented. They blend really, really nicely. I have it on my eyes today. I never actually did a tutorial using this, but let me know if you want one because I definitely can. If you love matte shades, it's got these beautiful berries and browns, and it's just so good. And I love that it has this mirror and it smells like peaches. Now I do have a drugstore palette that I reach for a lot. It is this Warm Neutrals from NYX. So this is what it looks like. This is another one that I've been using for a couple years. It's not quite a spot-on dupe for the ABH Modern Renaissance, but there are a lot of similar colors in here, and I think it's great quality for the price. In fact, NYX came out with several palettes this year that are really, really good. My favorite, I would have to say, is one called Warm Rust, and again, I will link it in the description so you can check it out if you're interested. But my favorite is this Warm Neutrals. I'm going to really quickly show you these next two because I just showed them in my December favorites video, and that's the Huda Beauty Obsessions palette in Mauve, and then Smoky. As you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of Huda Beauty's products, which is why I was so disappointed when I really didn't love her Faux Filter foundation. If you want to see that review, I will link it. But yeah, that one did not work for me. But I pretty much really like everything else that I've tried from her line. Up next is another palette I've been using for years. I recommend it to so many people. If somebody asks me, Risa, what would be one palette for me to buy my mom or my aunt, or even for myself if I don't really wear a lot of makeup, but I want to start getting into it, or I want just a great overall palette that covers a lot of bases, that is the Tarte original Tartelette palette. I do also really love the Tartelette in Bloom, and I have to say that since I've gotten the peachy mattes, I don't really reach for this one as much as I used to, but I still felt like I needed to put it in this video because I do reach for it, or prior to getting the peachy mattes, this is the one I reached for whenever I wanted to travel with an all matte palette. So I just have two more to show you. The first is this Lorac Unzipped Desert Sunset. This is gorgeous. The Lorac Unzipped palettes are really high quality. They're pigmented, they're silky. I'm just gonna swatch one of these shades for you. This one is called Illusion. It's a beautiful gold. Let's see if this new Canon with autofocus can really focus. Hopefully that's working. And this purple color called Meditation is stunning. Overall, it's a beautiful quality palette, and to be honest with you, this was the reason why I would always put down the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette when I had it in my hands and just decided I didn't need it because I had this and I had other warm palettes, but I don't know, I'm an addict. I'm gonna try to do better this year and not buy so many palettes. And rounding out my best of 2017 eyeshadow palette picks is this Smashbox Cover Shot palette in Ablaze. What do you know, another warm palette. So I would say 2017 was definitely a warm year for me. I feel like that's just what looks best on my skin tone, even though I can wear cool tones too. I consider myself a neutral, but because I have blue eyes that can look more green depending on the colors I use, they can look really, really vibrant blue with a lot of those tones in the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. So that's what I tend to stick to. But I will definitely try to make an effort this year and show more variety of color in my videos because I know some of you can't do warm tones. They don't look right on your skin. So I want to make sure that I don't leave anyone out. I want everyone who's watching to be able to recreate a look in a tutorial that I've done and not just feel like, oh, she's doing the same colors over and over again. I want to definitely work on more experimentation. Even though I am over 40 and some people say, oh, you shouldn't wear these colors or you shouldn't wear this glitter, you guys know I'm not about rules. I did a whole video about makeup myths busted, and I truly just believe in doing what makes you feel good and what you like. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please, like always, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Please check out some of my other videos. You can also follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. All of that is under the name Reset Does Makeup, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks again for watching.